This statistic is shocking, but it's the truth. In Canada, we now average one church burning every 3 days. One every 3 days. Church burnings in this country are up 300% in the last 3 years alone. Today, horrible story out of Michigan. Church is shot up. At least one person is dead. Incredible tragedy. We saw the same thing in Minnesota a couple of weeks ago. Charlie Kirk, prominent Christian, was assassinated. In Nigeria right now, there are over 100,000 people who have died. Christians are being systematically eliminated. 18,000 church burnings in that country in the past 10 years alone. And you look at the media in Canada, CBC, CTV, zero reporting on church burnings, zero reporting on anti-Christian hate. All our politicians are talking nonstop about Islamophobia, about what's going on in the Middle East, about Palestine. Not once do they mention all of the Christians that are literally under attack all over the world. And you have to ask yourself, why? Why does our media refuse to cover this? In the House of Commons, a Conservative minister last week brought up the church burnings and how we've seen a 300% increase in this country. It's unsustainable, and many Christians are scared to go to their place of worship. And you want to know what the Liberals did in reaction? They laughed. I kid you not, they laughed when he brought church burnings up. This woke worldview, this perverse worldview is so sick. Looking at the world through an oppressor prism means that essentially white Christians cannot do anything right. They are the oppressors in this warped worldview, whereas criminals are allowed to roam free because they are these historically oppressed people. It makes zero sense, but on a societal level, what we're seeing play out is disastrous. A man was just sentenced to ran over a 21-year-old university student going 135 kilometers an hour, ran over her in a crosswalk, was only sentenced to 4 years. A man, Daniel Senecal, who SA'd a 12-year-old, was only given a 12 months prison sentence, got out of jail, and went and ruined a 3-year-old's life. We've seen a spat of break and enters in Toronto, which used to be unheard of in Canada, but now is a near daily occurrence. And these were reoffenders. In Vancouver, we have seen a total of 50 criminals be charged 6,000 times in 2024, an average of 150 arrests per person over the course of the year, essentially once every 2 days. We have a criminal justice system. This is typical of communism, a criminal justice system that refuses to go after the real criminals, but they want to punish you incredibly hard if you are so-called Islamophobic or transphobic. If you align with the government's ideology, it's essentially impossible for you to be a criminal. This is straight out of Stalin, straight out of Lenin's playbook. If you align yourself ideologically with the Liberal Party, you can do no wrong. You have carte blanche to do whatever you want. However, with the introduction of literal authoritarianism in Canada, Bill C-8, Bill C-9, these are authoritarian bills attempting to shut down dissidents. By dissidents, they essentially mean white men who criticize their government. And you don't see any reporting in the media. If you just watch CBC, CTV, you have absolutely no idea what's going on in the world. It's not a surprise that the Liberals, after 10 disastrous years of Justin Trudeau, managed to stay in power, because you watch the CBC, CTV, you have no idea that Christians are being slaughtered. You have no idea the 300% increase in church burnings in Canada. You have no idea that criminals are being allowed to roam free all day in Canada due to Bill C-75 passed by the Liberals, which said that criminals need to be allowed out on bail as soon as possible in this country. In Canada right now, with the communists in charge, it is mandated that criminals are allowed out of prison as soon as possible. This is straight out of Stalin's playbook. If you align ideologically with the Liberal Party, you can do no wrong. You never go to prison. You get light prison sentences, even if you do the most vile things that exist on this planet, including essaying young children. However, they're trying to criminalize through Bill C-8, Bill C-9. If you are critical of our federal government, if you are critical of woke ideology, if you make statements about a man cannot become a woman cannot become a man, if you criticize Islam and point out that very frequently it leads to increases in violence, increased immigration from those countries time and time again. This is just a historical fact. You are pointed at as a bigot and a racist, and now not only do they want to call you a bigot and a racist, they literally want to be able to throw you in jail for your opinion. These hate speech laws are insanity. We are expanding the definition in Canada of hate speech to include so-called fomentation of detestation and vilification. They're criminalizing an emotion, and they are going to be able to put you under house arrest or give you up to life in prison if you share opinions that are not government approved. Think of that. In Canada right now, you can literally run a 21-year-old woman over, kill her, you get 4 years in prison. You can essay a young child, you get 12 years in prison. But through Bill CA, the government wants to be able to throw you in prison for life, for sharing on social media opinions that it doesn't agree with. How insane is that? How can we call ourselves a democracy? We can't. You absolutely can't. Bill C8, Bill C9 are tyranny disguised as safety. Canadians, do not trade away your freedom for your liberty for so-called safety. If we lose freedom of expression in this country, if we lose the ability to speak the truth, that is the absolute death knell to democracy. Justin Trudeau already did a hell of a lot of damage to our democracy, stomped on our charter rights and freedoms. The Supreme Court found that during the Freedom Convoy, he absolutely did violate our charter rights and freedoms by invoking the Emergency Act when it absolutely was not necessary. And Mark Carney is here to finish the job off. He's getting himself rich. He's traveling all around the world, these infrastructure deals he's in the UK. He's doing business deals all over the place. He has 1,000 conflicts of interest. He is not working on behalf of the Canadian people. And these guys, whether it be Starmer, whether it be Macron, whether it be Carney, they know how unpopular their immigration policies are. So you know what they do? They say, I'm not going to change my policy. A typical communist, I'm not going to change my unpopular policy. I am going to criminalize criticizing it. Bill C8 and Bill C9, this is an SOS. You think right now that you're not getting the information as to what's going on in the real world. You're not getting the information as to Christians being slaughtered, church burnings. Just imagine what it's going to be like when these bills pass and people are worried about getting arrested for sharing their opinions on social media. This is the time to stand up, reach out to your MPs, let them know we cannot allow Bill C8 and Bill C9 to pass. It would be the end of free speech in Canada. If you're interested in joining me, I'm setting up a Discord server soon because we need to start organizing as free Canadians. But for now, if you click one of the products under my YouTube video in that store, there's an email sign up. I'm going to be setting up a PDF, 10 steps to deal with authoritarianism. And there will be further emails coming. We need to start organizing. Please register for my newsletter. Please like, share, subscribe, join, become a member if you're interested in supporting. It takes a lot of work to get these videos out. Really appreciate it. If you're watching on TikTok, make sure you're following YouTube, youtube.com/IFightForCanada 2025, because I'm over 20K subscribers and the Canadian government's not a big fan of dissidents. We need to start organizing, and we need to start organizing soon, because if Bill C8 and Bill C9 pass, you are going to see voices that are critical of the Canadian government axed. And if you do not spout the government line, we are going to see absolutely Stalinist tactics in this country.